Hey guys, welcome back to Caroline Drinks Wine. In today's episode, I'm going to be starting a new series called Best Value Wines for 50 Rand or Less. But before we get into our wine tasting, I just want to tell you that I've started a Facebook page for the channel called Caroline Drinks Wine. And if you haven't liked it already, just check out the link below, click the link and like the page. And there I'll be sharing my videos that I make on YouTube and also posting all kinds of other wine content onto our wines. Our three best value wines for under 50 Rand are going to be Place in the Sun Unwooded Chardonnay, Darling Cellars Merlot Rosé, and Arabella Pinotage. So let's start with the lightest, which is this Place in the Sun Unwooded Chardonnay. And this is the 2015 vintage. So you may have noticed that I have already tucked into this bottle. You see, I have to taste the wines properly before doing a video about them. So you've got quite a nice pale color there. So the first thing that actually jumped out at me was fudge, weirdly enough. But there's also definitely a citrus element there, like fresh lemons and also some pear and a touch of floralness as well. So as this is an unwooded Chardonnay, we wouldn't expect it to be full-bodied and buttery and dark in color. But I find that some unwooded Chardonnays tend to be quite uninteresting and a little bit flabby, which basically means that the acidity isn't very strong. This one isn't like that at all, and this is why I think it's so lovely, is that it still has a freshness, and even though it's a light-bodied wine, it does still carry itself rather than just falling flat. So the palate, again, a nice fresh lemon zest thing going on there. And I wouldn't say this is the most interesting flavor-wise, but it's definitely refreshing, well balanced, and there's none of that kind of harsh metallic taste you often get in cheap white wines. Cool, let's put that one aside. Onto probably one of my favorites, the Darling Cellars Merlot Rosé. So Darling Cellars is based, surprise, surprise, in Darling, which is near Mons, so quite a hot climate, but also experiences some nice cooling breezes from the very brisk Atlantic Ocean. And all Darling Cellars vines are bush vines. And as you can see, I've drunk even more of this beautiful wine than I did of the Place in the Sun. Now, the first thing that really fascinated me about this wine was the absolutely amazing color. It's got quite a dark color and it's almost like a brick red with a touch of pink in there. And this is, on the nose, there's no other adjective other than girly. Now, normally, if anything is overly fruity, girly, sweet, all that kind of thing, I run a mile because I'm not really a fan of that kind of wine. But I will make an exception for this one. So on the nose, there's a slight hint of boiled sweets, there's candy floss, there's berries, even a touch of rose. And you've got a nice full-bodied palate for a rosé. This is a dry wine, so don't let the fact you're getting candy floss on the nose fool you into thinking that this is going to be a sweet wine, because it absolutely isn't sweet. So again, got those candy floss, fresh berry, little bit of berry cordial in there as well, medium-bodied, acidity is beautiful, really, really nicely balanced wine, and hellishly Moorish. And, you know, with spring just around the corner, I think this is the perfect opportunity to track down some of this Darling Cellars Merlot Rosé. Cool, 2 out of 3 wines. Onto our red, the Arabella Pinotage 2015. So Arabella is based in Robertson, again, sort of inland, hot climate, and all in all, they're a really, really good go-to wine producer. I don't think any of their wines come in at over 50 Rand. They're usually about 44 Rand or so, depending on where you buy them, of course. So this isn't a wine that comes with a cork, but I threw away the cap, so I had to stop it with something. Let's pour it out there. Yep, nice ruby color. Relatively shy nose. It's not like you're overwhelmed with aromas hitting you in the face. Slight hint of nail varnish remover, but don't let that put you off. And also yeah, sort of background aromas of blackberries and dark plums, stewed dark plums. There's also a slight medicinal aroma happening there, along with a little bit of coffee, which are actually aromas that you do pick up on in Pinotages sometimes. Now, I have to admit, any Pinotage wine for 50 rand or under, I would expect to be overly jammy, pretty harsh, that kind of nail varnish remover characteristic really coming on strong, which some Pinotages do have. This one really surprised me because it's extremely elegant and definitely not what you'd call a fruit-forward Pinotage at all. Not a hint of jamminess in there whatsoever. I'd say this is the sort of full-bodied size to medium. It's definitely not one of those really rich and heavy wines that you can find out there. And acidity is lovely, really, really well balanced. And essentially that is what you're looking for in a wine, is the balance. And unfortunately, a lot of the cheaper wines out there, they have no balance whatsoever, and that's why they're really unpleasant to drink. There you go, guys. Those were the first 3 of my amazing wines for 50 rand or under. I hope you liked the video, and I'd love to know what you think. So give it a thumbs up, tweet, share the video, leave a comment, whatever you feel like doing, and I'll see you next time. Now to finish that rosé.